What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Pangea Podcast. I am your host today, Michael Mon, and I could not be more honored to be here with you. I am a big mountain snowboarder competing on the Freeride World Tour representing the United States, and this will be my fourth year on the tour. And I am joined here today with my co-host, Warren.
What's up, guys? I'm Warren Doyle. I'm also on the Freeride World Tour this year. This is my first year on, which is obviously a pretty big dream of mine fulfilled, and it's also my first time on a podcast. So kind of chopping off two lifelong goals there in the same year, which is pretty cool.
Autograph signing sessions coming up next with the podcast blowing up, and
Yeah, I'll sign your forehead.
can't even show your face in public. It'll be just too crazy.
Literally, yeah.
So, in this podcast, we're going to talk about the World Tour. We're going to talk about what goes on the TV, what you see, but also, more importantly, behind the scenes. But this is a really special year for us because this has been a dream of ours since we were kids to compete together. So, Warren and I go pretty far back. I don't know how old we were when we met, but we met when we were younger. And we had the same coach in high school. And we trained together. We competed in the juniors together in freeride when I first started. I think you had just started kind of too. And we did the juniors together, and then I moved out to college at Montana State University. I was a year ahead of Warren, and then after my first year, Warren moved up to go to college there as well. We moved in together, and we've lived together the last 4 years as roommates. So.
Yeah. I think my first big mountain comp was the Grand Targhee National. Our second was the Monarch Regional, which, mind you, we went for a wonderful snack right before the comp. You, me, and Blake Edmonds, all three got
food poisoning,
chicken tenders, and got dramatic food poisoning within, it was amazing. Within 10 minutes of each other, all three of us were
unwell.
To quote Cody Bramwell, it's like, hey man, I gotta poop, I reckon. All three of us, it was amazing. We were all dying in the start game. It was so funny.
But yeah, I mean, it's been a dream of ours forever, honestly. Like I said, when I gave you a hug in the start gate in Verbier right before the last comp, I was like, man, as kids, I don't think if someone told us this, we just wouldn't have believed we were here together doing this. So dream come true.
It's pretty sick to have done the juniors with you and then the adults with you. And then you got on the World Tour. I was like, wow, this guy made it to the big stage. And then now to do it together with you is so sick.
Yeah, it's special. Honestly, I don't think, other than my parents, like my sisters, I don't think anybody knows me more than you do. I think you actually know me better than I know myself sometimes.
Likewise. I think you probably know me better than my own family living with me for 4 years,
Honestly, same. Yeah. I mean, even when I made the tour, we just snowboard together. That's what we do. We're always together. And I think we know each other's riding we know each other's riding so well that it's pretty special because we can almost bounce feedback off each other. Like, oh, do I have, you've got this, man. Or maybe we should, take another look through the binos or something. But we know each other so well. It's really cool to see.
It's funny, at some of the, before this year, you'd be at, a comp and you'd send me venue photos. And obviously you'd draw me lines, but I would sometimes look at them before you do the line, and I'd be like, I know he's gonna hit this, and then you draw me the line, and be like, yep,
I knew that yesterday,
Yeah.
I love it, and same with you too. I mean, it's gonna be good.
I mean, we probably just get that way, writing Bridger together all the time.
Oh my gosh,
I know what your top 3 favorite lines are, Bridger.
Yeah, I stand on top of the line, you know what song I'm about to start playing. Fortunate Son.
I was gonna say the Cold Wind.
Cold Wind. I can't do it anymore. It's too traumatic. I feel like I'm gonna hit something crazy. That song comes on. I'm like, oh my gosh, where's the cliff? I'm gonna hit something big.
Dude, no, yeah, all that music gives me not even just PTSD, but just Fortunate Son was in my head all day today. Every time it's like, oh my gosh, I ain't no fault. Yeah.
Some folks are born. You're like, oh, okay, we're about to jump off something. That song comes on, dude. I turn on. It's like, oh man, I'm pretty nervous. I'm like, I would jump off anything. America.
I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna start playing Shakira every time the start gets. We can start anytime you hear my hips don't lie, and it starts you start getting
wherever, whenever. You're like, I'm meant to be together. God damn.
Yeah.
So, what was it like for you when you found out you were gonna be on the tour?
I don't know. I was feeling really out of it in Whistler. Because, I fell in the first comp, and I was like, wow, I got to go 2 for 2. I got to land the next 2 runs. And then I ended up
about
putting
that.
down 2 good runs in Taos, and then
Dang.
in a snowbird. And like the day before the snowbird comp, I hurt my knee and went back to the house and iced the whole day. I was like freaking out, taking a ton of ibuprofen. I was like, shoot, am I even going to be able to compete? And then with the adrenaline, obviously didn't feel it and put down the run. Oh, but actually it was really stressful because like my run was pretty good, but the last landing of my cliff wasn't.
Oh, the last landing of your
My
line.
last cliff
Had a bobble a bit.
It was just like a little bit of like a hand down, a little bit of a wheelie. I was like, dude, was that enough?
And you
The
didn't
whole
know
day.
going into the awards. Cause
Waiting for the awards
not
was
live
really
scoring.
tough. Yeah, exactly. And then like, yeah, when they were calling off the people, I remember the announcer was like, when he was calling off the final two, because it was me and Brian, he was like, and these last two, they both had the same line, but one guy just did it a little bit better. So in second place we have, and then he called my name, and I just like freaked out. It took me like 10 minutes to get up to the stage.
Because when you got second, did you know that meant
then
you
I
made
knew.
the tour?
I knew because I knew Stiddy won for sure. His run was like stand out super good, and then obviously I knew given my result in Taos and then his result in Taos, I knew that us going 1-2 was going to be enough.
You went 1-2, 1-2 basically.
Exactly.
So you knew it, and then what? Just you.
I remember hugging my parents, and I hugged I don't know, just a couple friends, and then went up to the stage. And I remember like
Hug the announcer.
probably I gave Nux to a couple of the judges on the way up. Yeah, I just like I was just so stoked. I didn't think it was gonna happen, and then like it was like a dream come true to be like, dude, I'm actually gonna do this.
Yeah, I remember exactly where I was because I obviously was following along with you every stop of the way. Whistler with the fall, and then with your 2 stellar like runs on the last 2. And for me, I was in Switzerland at the time at my sister's house, and I couldn't stay up long enough for the awards because I could stay up long enough to hear about your run. But I think I talked to you before the awards basically, and I went to bed and I was like, man, I think he got it, but you're like, yeah, the hand went down, so I'm not sure. And I went to bed and I woke up in the morning to your text that like you made it. And I just remember laying there just so excited, so tired because it was so jet lagged, and my nieces woke me up ridiculously early, but I got that text. I was like, oh my gosh, we're doing it together. So yeah, then we looked forward to it the whole season, and then now here we are. And the first comp's already under our belt.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess with that, kind of going into a little bit of what the season's been so far, right? So, we entered the FWT 24 season with 6 comps planned. There were 4 competitions, and then the cut in the top 50% would make it to the final 2 in Fieberbrunn and then Verbier. And I went out to Europe about a month early. Or something ridiculous like that.
You left like right after Christmas.
Yeah, I just bought a ticket last minute, and I went over there, and then you joined me.
Yeah, we did like a week in Engelberg, Switzerland, which was really freaking fun.
Yeah, we stayed at the ski lodge Engelberg, which is like heaven on earth.
We just like showed up and had like it had been snowing for like 4 days previous. And yeah, we just rode like pow and just like teed off, big cliffs, spins, flips for like 3 awesome days.
So fun.
And then it rained
Yeah.
for like 3 days, and we spent 3 days recovering in the lodge.
Yeah, so we had a great time in Engelberg, basically. And then it was time for Baqueira de Barret. So we were going to head to Spain, and we did head to Spain. So we got on our flight, flew on over to Spain, left 90 centimeters of fresh snow in Engelberg, and skipped out on that day to get to Spain. Showed up, got off the plane, went to our friend Sam's house, and got the text that Baqueira was canceled.
Literally like
When we landed.
like an hour with like after showing up to her house. Like we'd probably been in Spain for like 3 hours. Like the comp's off.
Like we landed in Spain, went to the house. We were rolling our bags into Sam's place, and we got the text that Baqueira is canceled. So we thought, amazing. We just got here. We've already paid for our Airbnb, though, and our rental car. So we just went full vacation mode in sunny Spain. It was canceled because of a lack of snow.
Yes.
Remember, we just left Engelberg 90 inches or 90 centimeters
Right. So.
and flew here. But Spain never disappoints. So we showed up. we did drive to Baquero where we paid for the Airbnb and we just hung out there. We were the only ones on the world tour there because obviously everybody else had not come out as early as us.
Abel was there, but he
he lives there.
so that's kind of
I
different.
don't even think we got there before him. He like drove in later.
Yeah, where was he coming? I don't
Just
even
Barcelona.
remember.
Yeah, but so yeah, basically we just hung out in Spain for 5 days. We were actually going to stay longer. I think we decided we
jetted out
wanted.
well because, right.
Right. So then we were like, well, Spain has no snow, and Andorra's like 30 miles from here,
Well, so yeah.
and they also have no snow. So we were pretty certain that Andorra was going to get canceled. And then we were. Well, I was riding. You were hanging out at the Airbnb.
Right. So yeah, we went out one day, had a fantastic day of riding. Get out at 11 o'clock. It was just icy as heck. So the next day, I'm like, you know what? Don't need to ride today. Yeah, you guys were gone. I just gotten out of the shower. I'm scrolling through like Instagram or something. I get a text notification from Lolo, and he's like, "Competition confirmed, Verbier." I'm like, "Oh, excuse me,
Excuse me?
what?" So I scroll down further. Another text message comes in, and he's like, "The venue option is Lebec." And I proceed to have like a full panic attack in the house by myself. I'm calling.
It's like asthma. Like,
Dude, I'm taking the inhaler.
Inhaler's out.
I was calling Stinny on the phone. I was like, dude, like, we were just like, well, because, like, I've never done a visual comp before. You know, like, I never went to Junior Worlds. You know, in IFSA, you get a full inspection. And so, first visual comp is going to be Lebec. From the top, mind you, he didn't say it Le Petit Bec. He said Lebec.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like,
the big Beck.
what am I, like, I'm just going to visualize the Hollywood? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, well, so I got that text when I received it, I was on the lift riding Baquero with Sam. And I say riding like,
Hanging out.
yeah, we were
Opera.
on the lift, you know, like just lapping the lift, like download, you know.
Just go up and down, back down the gun.
And it's like comp confirmed in Verbier. I'm like, well, that's great because we just came from there and we're over here. And they're like, tomorrow, get over here, something ridiculous. It was like 2 days later or something, right? And
Yeah, that's why we left. We left our Airbnb early because we wanted to make sure we got to the comp or we could look
Right.
at the face before the comp.
Right. So basically, the competition was supposed to be on Saturday in Verbier, and that would mean Friday is the venue inspection. But Friday had no sun in the forecast, so we knew that we would have to get there early, otherwise we weren't going to see the Beck before we compete on it. So we said, let's get there Thursday. So we flew in on Wednesday night from Barcelona to Zurich,
Right.
and we got in like really late to my sister's house, like 10 p.m., something crazy.
Something like that, yeah.
And then we left there. We left in the morning, Thursday morning, at like a 5-something train.
We almost
AM.
missed that one.
We
Actually.
were running with like 120 pounds each of gear to this train at 5-something in the morning. Caught the train. This is all Warren's idea, mind you. And we caught this train.
What do you mean this is my idea? What are you talking about?
And then basically we took the train 4 hours to Verbier, dropped our stuff in some of the Pangea crew's house,
Oh yeah.
then went up the mountain at like noon and then saw the Beck for like, then
Well, actually, no, yeah, we showed up I showed up still thinking it was the full Beck, but right as we started looking at it, another message came in and they said we're doing Le Petit Beck.
yeah, the conditions were too
Yeah,
bad. Yeah.
exactly.
So then we saw the venue for like a few hours. And then
Yeah, sat down and was like, well, I remember leaving face inspection having way more ideas than answers. I'm like, there's a million things I could do, but I have no idea how to choose what to do.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we had more time to look at it on Friday, because if we wouldn't have gotten to see it on Friday, like I had tons of ideas. Mostly I didn't know how to size things. I was like, shoot, that looks like 10 in my binoculars. But when I take down the binoculars, I'm like, wow, that's like a quarter of the mountain. Maybe that's like an 80,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I don't know. And so I looked at a ton of stuff that I know people had done before. Mind you, the snow levels were different though. So I don't know. For like a first comp, I definitely wanted to land, but also at the same time, I'm on the world tour. You know, I didn't come here to put down mediocre runs. So I wanted to find a good balance there. And I think eventually I ended up choosing the line that I did. But I remember leaving not having any idea what I should do.
Yeah, I know you're pretty stressed after that. Actually, I feel like you left it more stressed than you entered the face inspection.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I feel like I should have been more stressed than I was. I think I was overly confident leaving that inspection, and then I started questioning things.
What the heck were you thinking? Did you even have your line picked out at that point?
Oh, I had it picked out. But
Oh, yeah.
so we did the inspection, then we went to the riders meeting,
Right.
and then we picked our bib number. And so I guess for those who don't know kind of how it works is in the freeride comp, right, you only get one run. Just to kind of run it back for those who really don't know. I guess you don't get to go on the mountain before you compete. So you look across with binoculars, pick your line, you get one run in the comp, and the first time you do it is that run. And so the hard part is, yeah, like you said, Warren, like picking out the sizing up a cliff. Is this 10 feet? Is it 30 feet? And then picking your markers for where you're going to come into it. But also kind of factors into it is where you drop in the start order. So there's 12 snowboard men. And if you're going first, you might be able to bite off a bit bigger of a cliff because you're going to get the first landing. If you're last, you're just going to land where everyone else landed. And the Petit Bec is small enough as far as like width goes that everyone funnels to the same things in the most part. And I think I should have taken that into account a little bit more on my inspection. I think is where I went a little wrong as well. So something I took from it, like having, I guess usually we inspect after the bib draw, so I guess it wouldn't pertain as
Right.
much.
So yeah, that's also a good reason we didn't necessarily have the lines pinned down after
Right.
the thing is because face check was supposed to be the next day.
Right.
And
So
it
we didn't know
was.
when we were dropping in the lineup.
Right. So yeah, thankfully that next day cleared up a lot of stuff because you knew you were dropping at the end. I knew I was dropping kind of in the middle,
Yeah,
and
but, like,
that helped.
We
decide
didn't
a
really.
little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So I picked last in the bib draw.
Right.
Picked 12th.
Right.
Yeah.
Out of
Rounded
12.
out. And you were fourth.
Sixth. Yeah.
So yeah, comp day comes, you wake up, it's actually happening. You're competing in your first World Tour comp on the Petit Bec, Lebec.
On Lebec. The option is Lebec.
And what's going through your mind?
I feel like the day of the comp, like I was drawing more of a blank. Like the first 2 days, I was really stressing out. I was like way nervous, and like
Yeah, so you're in your first
Like-
comp basically.
yeah, like the first.
The first thought that goes through your mind is I'm about to drop in. Everyone's watching on the TV.
No, that's
People
not what I
around
was
the
thinking
world.
at all. No. So the day of the comp, right? Honestly, I just kind of drew a blank. I remember going up the hike, and I was like, not. It didn't even feel real. I felt like I was kind of dreaming. I remember being in Stargate, and like I wasn't even that nervous. I was doing my visualizing, and it felt a lot like I was in the 4 stars. I remember like dropping in, and like I wasn't even nervous. It was like I hit the first cliff, and then I made one turn, and all of a sudden it hit me. I was like, oh my god, I'm doing a world tour.
World to
Like,
World Tour. Yeah, I know the
That's what
feeling.
I
You're in
like-
the middle. You're like, oh, people are watching.
No, literally.
This is
Usually
it.
I thought like when the drone came in, it would hit me, but it didn't really hit me. Like on the hike up, doing like where they like check all your gear.
Yeah.
That I
Didn't
didn't
hit.
feel it then. I
Didn't
didn't feel
hit.
it then. When we were listening to the Forerunner, I was like, I don't know, just like I was like on autopilot, you know. And then partway through the run, I was like, oh my god, this like matters. I don't know. Like that's kind of what was going.
So for you landed. I didn't know though,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm at the top still.
Yeah.
We dropped in the same start gate, and I had no idea if you'd landed. But I came down, and I think the first thing I did when I got to the bottom is I like look over you and I gave you like a thumbs up, like is like thumbs up, and you're like, yeah, thumbs up, and I was like, okay, this guy just landed, like I'm stoked. Then I proceeded to score like a 68, score like a 54 or something like that.
Well, like, you like gave me the thumbs up, and I'm pretty sure there's recording by the tour of you shouting, "I'm so proud of you, brother!" And then like immediately after that, your 68 comes up, and there. I hope there's not audio of me saying this, but I'm like, what? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe I just don't know how World Tour judging works. Anyway. I wasn't sure what to expect.
It wasn't my best run, let's put it that way. So I dropped in. I had all these like glamorous thoughts of like, oh, I'm gonna like land in good snow and stuff like that. And then immediately, I think I realized like I took a couple turns, and I was like, okay, game plan changing. Like the snow is I'm riding through everyone's tracks, and it's way firmer than I thought. And so I kind of switched to just I want to land this run. Yeah, I think I took things a little smaller than I wanted to take them and whatnot. But But yeah, landed. I was pretty stoked on it. Um,
I mean, your back three into that exposure was really sick.
oh, thanks.
I
Yeah.
admire that.
I
I don't
appreciate
have
it.
the. I wouldn't want to do it. Let's put it that way.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah. So, Warren, what do you look for in a line when you're building your line, maybe on inspection day or the days leading up to the comp? What are you looking for? What's your process putting that together?
Well, because I was. I
wanna
feel
ask
like
me
no,
then?
no. I feel like I do the same thing. You like pick one thing and build a line out of it, but I don't. That's exactly what everyone else. That's what you're gonna say. That's what.
That's what I'm gonna say.
I know. So I got to think of something else to say now.
It's kind of news to me though that everyone kind of does that. But like I heard him talking about it. I was like, yeah, like when I'm building a line, I start by picking a premiere feature, if you want to call it that. What sticks out to you? Like I'll look at the face for the first time, and I don't try to overanalyze it the first time. I just think like what sticks out to me on first sight. What looks fun? Is there any line that sticks out to me? But then I'll see like usually there's one feature that I really want to hit. I think I really want to make sure that's part of my line. That's like my premier feature, if you will. And then I build from there, like what's above it leading into it, what's below it leading out of it. Like how do you build around that premier feature?
Yep, for sure.
Is that kind of what you do as well?
I think a lot of people do that. Actually, I mean, I feel like I did that a lot in the qualifiers. I actually don't feel like I did that on the Beck though, because
Only so many
I was
options.
so concerned
Like,
with. I had so many options. I didn't know what I wanted to hit. I was like, oh my gosh, I want to hit everything, you know. And I ended up, ironically, pretty much doing your exact line from 2 years ago,
but you did do the exact
hit for hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess the back three was the premier feature, although, and I mean that was the coolest hit of the line, for sure. So I guess I did do that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, and sometimes like the premier feature's at the bottom,
Right.
I guess, and then sometimes it's at the top. So just building something
sure.
into and out of that, yeah.
For sure. I mean, Stinny did that too, for sure. With that double, he wanted that double super badly.
Yeah, so I guess like could you go into a bit more detail of like what was your premier feature? You kind of touched on it, but like how'd you build your line in Verbier? Did you just like watch my run from last year?
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
that's
I was
it.
like, that's a good idea. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, with all due respect to my own line, it was like the obvious line, you know.
Yeah.
Like those 4 hits flow together perfect, and it's completely fall line. You know, there's no traversing. One leads straight into the next, leads straight into the next. So, since it was my first visual, you know, all the markers are really obvious. It funnels you all to it. So in that sense, it's like a low consequence line. You know, it would be extremely hard for me to get lost to doing that.
Yeah. It makes it much easier than like a few other visual venues where you have to like search for the features. Like it's right there for you on
For
that
sure.
line.
Now, like, there were spots on that face that's not that wouldn't be the case, but just the line I happened to choose was definitely like that. And yeah, building that into a line, that line needed the back three. If I just like straight aired that piece, if I straight aired that Johnson,
Might have scored like 68.
yeah, if I straight aired that thing small, in my line, the whole run probably would have been like 60 points, you know. But like doing the back three at a medium size, you know, then plus all the 3 other small hits, you know, turned it into a decent line. I feel like.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
For me, I mean, for me overall, like Verbier was not. This comp wasn't my best. Like there were some things I took from it and whatnot. I just didn't ride it the way I quite wanted to, as we kind of talked about before. But basically, my premier feature, what I wanted it to be, was that back 3 into the mandatory zone, and then like airing out of that zone, and like the combo of the 1-2 punch of the back 3 into it, air out of it. So yeah, we kind of all. I mean, I feel like most of us did the same thing up on that top left. It just kind of led into it. So I thought, you know what? That's actually at the bottom, kind of an example of your premier feature being at the bottom.
For sure.
A 1-2. And then I just thought, well, what leads into it? And there's really only, you know, so many options on that left side, especially. I knew I wanted to get into the mandatory zone on the left. Like, for me, the start gate on the looker's right of the back, it just didn't look as fun to me. I felt like if I'm going to go on the back, I want to go to the mandatory zone and kind of get into it there. And so, yeah, from there it was pretty easy because there was only one option out of that mandatory zone to get to my back 3 to air out. So.
If you do kind of go that looker's left start, and I mean, with the exception of men's ski, there's not a lot of options. You have that nugget, and then you have the Mando. It's like, what direction do you take off that Mando, you know?
Yeah, and for anybody out there listening, if everyone else is going to do it and you go last, like, I maybe don't recommend it. I don't know.
Maybe you should
like,
go to the
maybe
other
you just
start.
should go to the other start, yeah. So that's a good lesson learned. So I took that. I think I'm taking that to Kicking Horse. So, Kicking Horse, second comp of the season. There's only going to be 3 comps now before the cut. So we were originally going to have 4, and we were going to take best 3 of 4.
Yep.
And now we're having 3 comps, best 2 of 3.
Yep.
So you've actually got a 5th place. That's pretty good as far as points go.
Definitely can keep that one, yeah.
Yeah, you can keep that one. I cannot keep mine. I've got 9th place. So for me,
if you go
first and 9th.
respectfully, if you go 10th, you are keeping that 9th.
Wow, I appreciate the vote of confidence. So basically, I've got to do pretty well in these last 2 comps, right? So, yeah, it's kind of a bit higher stakes now going into Kicking Horse, but I'm kind of approaching it from just pretending this is the first comp of the season for me. So it's going to be 2 comps and a cut in my mind, and so yeah, we're getting there day before check-in.
Yep.
So we can see the venue a bit early.
And check out the snow too. I mean, they had a severe warming event about a week ago, yeah, and like everything got really hot and then froze. And they've had a couple centimeters since then, but it might be optimistic to think everything's
A couple
completely
Lincolns.
refreshed.
There's a couple Lincolns.
A couple
on that.
Lincolns.
Yeah.
So we want to see what the snow's doing on that aspect to get an idea of what we're working with.
Yeah, so we received, like, before the competition, they send all the riders what they call just the rider's letter, and it gives us, like, the layout of what to expect in this next place. So we got the one for Kicking Horse, and they have a section in there that says, weather, snowpack, what's it been? And it said something along the lines of it's experiencing a severe, lack of snowfall for the season. What snow they do have basically is sitting on facets on the ground and then a crust on top.
Naturally.
But that it's been very warm.
Right.
So that's a lot of it's wet slid, just all.
In fact, in the venue photos, you can see a combination of rocks and previous avalanche debris covered up by a couple Lincolns.
But then, lucky us, it refroze.
Of course, naturally.
So actually, it could be a couple extra features, like jib off the frozen Avi debris.
There's all of a sudden a new 20-footer at the bottom.
Yeah. All of a sudden, your single is a double, or a cinquental.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah.
I guess all that to say, the conditions are dicey in Kicking Horse.
I mean, you rode Ozone last year, and
yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was extremely, extremely rocky, and now we're looking at potentially less snow than that.
Right. So like last year, they had more snow than we have now, but so Ozone, the venue. Potential venue,
likely venue.
The main venue, the likely venue for Kicking Horse, is notoriously rocky. And last year, it looked pretty great on TV, but it was like 12 inches on rock, right? And so this year, they have even less snow. So it's going to be dicey, but I feel like smart snowboarding is going to go a long way. I think we can just make smart decisions. Hopefully, that plays to our benefit. But I think we're going to see... I mean, what do you think we're going to see from the snowboard men's field?
I mean, hopefully we see, like you said, a lot of smart riding. I think last year there was a lot of people that got potentially overly ambitious, and like, ooh, I think that could go, But yeah, I think if you pick smart airs, air from far back, air far into the landings, ride smooth, don't try and don't do a lot of stuff that's on the edge,
This might not be the comp to push it. Basically.
Well,
right?
it depends how you push it. Don't do something that you're like, is there enough snow on that?
Yeah, does that go? Probably not.
Right. Do stuff that definitely goes.
Right. Yeah. Like you were saying, probably take off 5 feet before, land 5 feet after you'd normally land. Just take all the rocks out of play.
For sure.
I mean, as much as you can, right?
For as much as you can. Yeah.
What's the most ludicrous thing you've seen on tour so far this year? On hill and then off the hill.
Okay. The most ludicrous... Okay, I have 2 for the ski. The first was... I know Martin didn't do this on purpose, but almost landing on those rocks, that was gnarly.
Shout out
Obviously,
to Martin.
He was trying to...
It's crazy.
If he would have stomped that just a little bit more his left, that would have been sweet. But the double that... Was it Waitian?
Yeah.
He found... That was sick. I was not seeing that. That was super sick.
Yeah. That takeoff on the rock was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sidebar, Matt's dad was like, he didn't mean to do that. I went to lunch with him. He's like, because me and Matt were talking about that, and his dad was like, he didn't mean to do that. He got lost. I'm like, no, he
No,
definitely
he
meant
totally
to do that.
meant to do that.
It was so sick.
Definitely planned. He went into that with
Huge eye.
confidence.
That was so sick. Yeah. Off the hill.
Yeah. Well, I guess we haven't really hung out with the crew that much.
No. I was a fly on the wall for this. They don't know that I saw this, but I saw Max Hitzig and Valet do like double shots at the same time. Both of them, like a 2-pack. I was like, wow.
Wow.
The party started, you know?
The party started. Yeah, it's been a little bit of a weird year because we all rushed so quickly to Verbier, and then we get kicked out at 10 a.m. the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
So we really didn't hang out with each other that much.
For sure.
Like, so the crew hasn't really been together too much. But I think we're gonna see some stuff, some fun things a bit more once we get to hang out a bit. We might be in Kicking Horse for the entire weather window, so
We'll see.
maybe there.
Honorable mention, Taylor Dobbins, Tomahawk, another Pangea athlete. That was
She's such a stud.
so gnarly. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the craziest thing I've seen, I mean, what got me the most hyped on Hill this year was Zuzana's
That
run.
was sick.
Like,
Yeah.
that was a work of art and just so strong to land those, and then the exposure too. I don't even think that any of the angles that that the cameras got give it justice. Like, it was super zoomed in on the live stream,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't show what was below her, and that's crazy. So that was probably one of the craziest things I've seen. Also, just watching Max Palm like pick the biggest cliff and just 3 it. You know,
Could you imagine being him going up the boot pack, looking for that Johnny, and just be like,
Them's the ones.
Them's the ones.
Them's the ones. Be like, here's the Petit Bec. Was the biggest cliff. I'm gonna 3 it. There you go. There it is.
The landing is about 20 degrees, so that should be plenty.
It's a little too steep. I
If
need it to
anything,
flatten
I
out
should,
a little bit. Yeah,
I should lean back to compensate for how steep it is.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Or wait, lean forward, lean to the front of the boots.
Let's take out my shovel, flatten this landing out a little bit so I can jump onto
Literally.
it. That was sick. That's what I'm telling you. If your name is Max and you're on the tour,
Watch out.
what you? I want to know what they're having for breakfast. You know, get them to jump off that stuff. Well, if it's
Well, I
Max,
mean,
if
I
it's
can
Max,
guarantee they're probably eating chocolate croissants.
they probably I was gonna say if it's definitely a croissant and a macchiato. Okay, so craziest thing off the hill that I've seen. I don't know, man. Probably the fact that we were at Farinet, the après.
Oh, yeah.
And they said they were yelling like play Mr. Brightside, and then they played Mr. Brightside. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
when a bunch of people are yelling play Mr. Brightside, they never play it. They were like, yeah, sure. The
Dude, the
just,
whole
like,
place got
band-
into it, though. That was actually
yeah, it
really fun.
crazy. Yeah, absolutely. And then honorable mention just Stene with his 40-foot backy to blow up Engelberg. I mean,
Oh
I know it was
my
on the hill, but that was
gosh.
just ridiculous too.
I mean, I think the best clip that came out from the entire World Tour experience, obviously this wasn't actually part of the tour, was when you're standing under the sun and I throw the snowball
Oh,
and it
yes.
falls on you.
Warren brought out his middle school baseball arm.
I was not on the middle school baseball team.
Elementary school baseball
I
team.
was
and
not on the elementary school baseball
and,
team.
And
either.
I'm standing under this sign that has a bunch of snow on it. This sign's like 40 feet in the air. And Warren just nails it with a snowball, and all the snow just falls on me. It was amazing.
It was beautiful. Ski Lodge Engelberg.
Ski Lodge
liked that
Engelberg.
post.
Yeah, people love that post. Engelberg, titless. I love it. Yeah. Because we were riding Engelberg with Stene, Brian Stenderson.
Yeah.
And
Alter
there was
ego
this like
Stene.
Stene with that German E with the 2 dots.
Of course.
Yeah. And
STCHEENEE with the dots.
H.
H.
Yeah. Stene. And we hit this we were gonna hit this like bench of a cliff at the bottom. And then I was like, and then he just said, do you think there's a bit of a kick on that? And I was like, probably. And he's like, all right. And he just proceeds to like lean back and 40-foot backy.
We're standing on top of a skyscraper, and he's like, let me build a jump off the top of the skyscraper.
Right.
Well, also, he was like, how much speed do you think I need? This is like a 3-pack of cliffs, like a little 1, 2,
Yeah,
3, right? Hits the first one, turn. Hits the next one, goes
Straight.
for like, not like a football field, but like
Far.
like very far.
Yeah, like he had to contact air traffic control for how long he was in there. He was like, Steny entering airspace. And they were like, good for landing. And then he just like proceeded to fly over our bomb holes and be like, sayonara, Sammy.
He passes our bomb holes in this position.
Yeah. Like he sets it by just Like kind of like when Max Hitzig went off the Yu Sasaki and he like backflipped it and he literally said it by slightly tilting his chin upward.
Just
And he
looking upwards.
Yeah, just like looked upwards and then proceeded to slowly backy and then like have a midair macchiato again and land. It's ridiculous. It was insane. I lost it. Oh man.
I thought he had it too. I was filming at the bottom.
Ah. Well, he told me. I knew that he was gonna air it.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, he's gonna air the Yu Sasaki, like gnarly. And then they were like, no, he's gonna back it. I think Valley told me. I was like,
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about Steny.
No, I'm talking about. I'm still on the Max Hitzig.
Okay.
Yeah, and Valley was like, no, he's gonna back it. I was like, get out of town. So I was like, pull out the dad cam. Let's record this, Johnson.
Yeah, seeing that from the bottom last
I
year.
thought we want to record that. We can cut that.
Seeing that from the bottom last year was like the craziest thing ever. I was like, because that was before I was on the tour. I was watching you guys like, what am I getting into?
What's happening? Can we just talk about that duo real quick? The Max Hitzig Valley Rainier duo. Those two are a unit together. Like watching them,
Right.
I feel like watching Valet and Max's runs on the tour, I would never see. Like unless you were at the Freeride World Tour, you just wouldn't see people hit those features ever.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you're never going to
I'm
be
with
on a
you.
mountain and just see somebody air out of that couloir in Fieberbrunn on the Wildsloader.
Yeah.
Like
that
here he
was
goes.
Messed up.
He's back it as well. If you, yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Which one of us do you think is Max and which one of us is Valet?
I don't even think I can.
Neither of us are either of them.
I'm like,
We're the filmer.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, I'm
the
the
dude
film-
who's just hyping him up.
I'm like the team manager, you know. Yeah, go ahead, hit Lebec. You know? Yeah, on the tour they're like, oh, here's a super nice hotel, like all you can eat buffet, just like enjoy it all, and then like, you know, go ride the Beck, have fun, go do your thing, go jump off the cliff.
We film.
We film. Oh man, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, there haven't been too many crazy things off the mountain yet because we just it's been so hectic. I don't know.
Can we talk about Hugo? First of all, throwing down the World Tour comp next day, teaching a lesson
Really?
at the resort. Yeah, you were
Next
there.
day, I was not there. I was deathly ill on my deathbed after that.
Oh.
I got like
Oh, by the way,
malaria, but yeah.
He teaches lessons. Oh, malaria.
Yo, I know he teaches
malaria
lessons.
from staying out till 3 in the morning.
Yeah, that's okay. You can cut that. Yeah, dude, Hugo Serra is an absolute legend.
Yeah.
Beautiful run.
Oh, his run was
Beautiful
was on a heater.
run.
If he would have landed that, that would have been
Oh my
scored quite
gosh.
well. Quite
Yeah.
well.
Oh, it was a beauty, as always.
Yeah.
Um,
Expect nothing less.
Sidebar, I remember my first ever Freeride World Tour comp. Hugo and I made it the same year on the tour. And he was the first to drop, I think, in the men's snowboard. And we were standing at the top of Andorra. And I was standing there, and I watch him just boost this method into this, like, huge back three. And I was like, what am I getting myself into? Like, this is a crazy level of riding. But, yeah, you said he taught a lesson the next day after Verbier?
Oh yeah, but no, roll it back. See, that's what was nice about this year being in our start. Everyone dropped in. I couldn't see squat, so I didn't have to be like, well, I just watched that guy do a 50-footer. Didn't
Right.
see it. Anyway,
Just like
sorry.
Warren dropping in 3, 2, 1. It's like,
There he goes.
there he goes. There he goes.
That was the one.
I was like trying to listen for the crowd to hear if they like cheered super loud, but not like too loud for like a fall, you know, like loud enough. He's like, he stomped it, you know?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't hear anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough.
Dude, sidebar, I was way more scared on the hike up than
Oh my
actual the
gosh.
run. They put in some fixed lines, but me in my Swanee mittens holding onto that rope, is that going to save me if I lose a step, man? I'm going to slide for life over the exposure. It was so gnarly.
Yeah, like something I don't think people know about me is I have a fear of heights. Like if I'm not in my snowboard, like if I'm in my snowboard, I feel fine. I feel okay. If I am not strapped in, I am terrified. And that hike had me gripped. I was holding onto that rope, both hands, looking over a like 1,000-foot cliff to our right. Like if you slipped, it was over. Like
Okay,
it's over.
1,000 feet might be a little bit of an over-exaggeration.
1,000 feet was
a male
an
skier
under-exaggeration.
They probably would size that up.
Oh my gosh.
Max Hitzig's like gonna 3.
Yeah, Max Hitzig with 3 it, but it was definitely like 1,000 feet. That's not even exaggerating. Check it. I will show you after this. Legit. Let's just say if you fell, you weren't okay.
Let's put
It doesn't
yes.
matter if it was 1,000 feet or 950 feet. You were not going to be okay if you slipped off that.
60. Anyway.
60. Yeah.
I don't know.
Can
I
we
didn't
talk about
look
how
at it.
today we were at Brighton, by the way? We eyed up like a 20, and you're like, I think it's a 5. Like that's a solid 5. I was like, you need to.
That's because we
Get
always
off of your
overdo it.
rocker.
It's like men are really good at, saying stuff is too large. We do that with cliffs. You should not speak that in there.
I think that's a great Johnson analogy.
This man, we roll up onto a cliff. He's like, I might just be in the wrong here, but I think that's like a 10-footer. I was like, yeah, you're in the wrong here. Like that. That's
No,
big. It
no,
ended up
we
being
hit
like
it was like 10 feet.
it was like
You hit
12
it.
feet.
Cool.
But if we had done it the way I was thinking about doing it, it would have been like 25. There's a reason I didn't do it that way.
No, in fact, because it was set up like 2 more feet, it might have been 14.
You're so
That's how-
atrocious.
You
You're
are so.
I don't know how you're. I don't know how you're
10
gonna.
feet the entire day today.
How are you gonna survive in your old age on a rocking chair? Because you are always off your rocker. Like I
Oh my
can't
gosh.
imagine you being on a rocker. It's ridiculous. Anyways, where were we? Verbier, Big Cliff.
You gotta uninstall Hinge from your phone because you are unhinged right now with all these comments you're dropping.
Dude, you need to go to Home Depot and buy a hinge because you were unhinged. like at what point do you say it's no longer am I gonna hit it? Like tell me when. 10, 20 feet, 30 feet,
Keep going.
35 feet,
Keep going.
37 feet,
Keep going.
40 feet,
Keep going.
42 feet,
Keep going.
60 feet,
Let me just save you some time. It's not off the table.
53 feet. It's
No,
not
off
off the
the
table. Wow. Okay. It's like when they're like for me with cliff size, like to when I would not want to hit it. It's like when you come in. It's like the Parmesan cheese or like tell me when.
Yeah,
It's like the
yeah.
second they start spinning. I'm like, hey, when? Like 5 feet. Like I'm good. You know.
I mean, realistically, if I get there, even if it's like, I mean, it's more about the conditions and the size. If it's 20 and it looks horribly flat or rocky or something, I might not do it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's much more about the conditions and the size. But
I mean, conditions aren't going to be great. I think we know the conditions more than we know the size.
Honey, I'm gonna need you to calm down for a second.
Dude, my tactic is like I've been warming up my baseball arm so I can just like get a pile of rocks and just like start slinging, and I'm just gonna like throw it from the ridge and see if I can get it to land right in your landing and just bomb it. Like bomb the cheese grater.
That'd be lovely.
Yep. That way it could be flatter
You're
for you.
gonna-
I know
you're on
how
the
you like it.
PFD. You're gonna go straight to Lolo and be like, "Excuse me, I need to close just this section right in the middle of the face."
Yes,
I think this is
PFB,
a safety
please. I
concern.
think we need to close just the cheese grater area. I think there's heavy safety concerns on this, and I'm also going to need you to close just the cornice. I don't really want to hit that.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. So the competition in kicking horse is going to be on Valentine's Day. Who on the World Tour do you think is most likely to roll straight from their run into a date? Like just ski
Oh, Blake Mona's
Pass.
not here anymore. I mean,
past the and like you don't stand in the finish corral. You don't even do an interview. You just ski right to the date. Who on the tour?
What do you think? Who is most likely to?
I feel like it might be Megan.
Who?
Megan Beton. Megan Beton.
Oh, I thought you said McGall.
Megan
Megan.
Megan Beton.
Yeah, okay. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I think Megan Beton.
Sick.
It's just fun to say. It doesn't even sound like a word. Megan Beton. Megan Beton. Just flows.
Mugamo.
Justine de Font-Lapon. French names are just better.
La la la.
Megan Beton. Justine de Font-Lapon. Warren Doyle.
Doesn't quite roll off the tongue in the same way.
Victor Delarue. Michael Mann.
Okay. No.
The French
no.
names are just better.
Okay, keep me up again.
All right. The kicking horse comp on Valentine's Day, most likely. Who on the tour do you think is the most likely to just ski straight from their run to a date? Like no finish corral, no interview, just right into it.
Samuel Holden.
Samuel Holden. Wow. Wow. Dang.
That's it. That was
Sorry,
the punchline.
ladies. He's taken. I think
Can't believe you didn't think I was going to slide that one in there.
I didn't think that. I think Megan Beton.
Okay.
Yep. So overall, competition season's been off to a crazy start, but we're gonna finish it out strong. A couple more comps until the cut, and we're gonna hit it hard.
We'll see how
Shit
it goes.
goes. Yeah. Anything you want to say to your fans on your first podcast? Round it up.
Hi, Mom. I don't
Classic. I've actually never heard that one before, so we'll have to put that in
That
there.
was a new one.
Yeah, it's a new one.
Hey, the watermelon rolls.
As they say in Andorra.
As they say in Andorra, the watermelon rolls faster in the humidity.
Yep. All right. Well,
Watch out for us in the peak performance fun bet.
well, yeah. Please hit us up on that peak performance fund.
No,
bet. Like,
don't bet for us. We're gonna let you
I
down.
don't want to let you down. You know. No. It'll
Bet
be
on
good.
someone else.
No, bet on us. We'll come through for you.
Bet on Beton?
Bet on Beton. I might be butchering her last name, but let's just.
It's just pretend.
You know, I'm betting on myself. I got this. Megan Beton.
That's
bet
not where
on-
I thought you were going.
bet
with
on
that.
Beton.
I'm gonna bet on myself, Michael Munn. I thought that's what you were gonna do. Anyway, I'm sorry.
My middle name's Pierre, so does that give me a little bit more style?
Excuse me.
I'm just kidding. It's
I
not
know
Pierre.
your middle
All
name
right,
is.
all
It's
right.
Warren.
Do you want us? How do we end something like this? I don't really know.
You go.
All right, and that's a